Well, hi, my name is Toya Johnson. This is my husband, Mario Vernon Watsons. We're the Vernon Watsons. Um, we hired Wendell Studios to do our wedding pictures, and I just have to say, we're here now after the wedding, seeing our pictures, and oh my gosh, I'm absolutely floored. The pictures came out so wonderful. I'm so well pleased. There's some really, really great shots where you can just see how personal, some really personal shots of Mario and I. And that's the essence of what I wanted to capture in our wedding film. Um, the other thing that I wanted to talk about is we were a little afraid in the beginning about us taking pictures beforehand, and that whole fear of seeing the bride before you get married, and we're fairly religious people, Christians, and but Shane kept trying to convince us, and we were actually getting married on daylight savings time too, or the actual day, and so we were going to be losing a lot of daylight. And Shane, re-emphasized the moment of us actually being able to take wonderful, wonderful pictures if we did do it beforehand, because we would run the risk of not having like any sunlight if we did it after the wedding. So I have to say, now that I saw the pictures, he's absolutely right. The pictures are wonderful, they're beautiful, they're gorgeous.
And I just want to agree with everything my wife just said, and just to say that Shane is a very talented photographer. I mean, does
Absolutely.
A-class work, and he knows how to call the shots in terms of when to take the pictures. Having the pre-shots at the park was definitely a good idea. Well, as my wife said, we were a little bit hesitant at first, but
Superstitious, probably.
but when we actually looked on the final product, we were very satisfied with the pictures.
Well pleased, well pleased. They're wonderful. That's what we wanted.
So what would you say to somebody coming here for the first time? What would be some things that they should really consider about hiring Wendell Studios?
Well, I know when I first came here for the first time, when I first walked into the studio, I was like completely blown away, because there was just so many shots that I can look at that I said, wow, that's a great picture, that's a great picture, that's a great picture. Then I was like, well, I wonder who the photographer is. And then when Shane walked out, and then he gave us a rundown of like how he did, several pictures in his studio, and then showed us some of his previous work as far as him doing weddings, we were well pleased. And we had been to several photographers before actually coming to Wendell Studios, and once we came here and saw the work, that's when we were really convinced.
I gotta say he's a very talented photographer. So if you're looking for really quality pictures
Absolutely.
and good, what you call it, choreography.
Choreography.
Choreography. There you go. And looking for great choreography. Shane knows what he's doing.
Definitely, and he does know how to capture the moment, and that's what I really wanted to walk away with. When I came in here, I really wanted to find a photographer that could take candid shots, that could really capture the moment in the essence of our wedding day. And when it was all said and done, even though we would still be married, I wanted to walk away with excellent photography, because that would be the one thing that I could look back in and see, relive the day, and then that would be something that I could cherish. And that's one thing that I can absolutely say without a doubt that I'm well pleased in, is definitely the photography.
If you had to give a bride or groom one tip for their wedding day, what would you give them? What would you tell them?
Well, there are many tips. One tip for me would be that pictures are worth a thousand words. A picture is worth a thousand words. So
That's a good tip.
you definitely want to make sure that you have quality pictures, because that can last a lifetime.
Oh, I have a good tip. I just remember how we were at the park, and how it was a little chaotic because we didn't have a person that said, okay, now let's do all the bridesmaids. Okay, now let's do all the grooms. Okay, now let's do the ring bearer and the flower girl. Definitely have someone that can come in and kind of orchestrate that a little bit, because what kept happening was people were running over here, people were over there. They were like, oh, I'm in the shot next. and then they would come back. It just was a little chaotic. So everything else went very well, but that would be like my one little tip. If you had like an aunt or a cousin or someone that just maybe had like a notepad or a sheet of paper to say, okay, let's do this next, and okay, you know, all the men come together, that would definitely make things a little bit more smoother, and kind of get you on time. Our wedding was on time, but we were running 15 minutes late because we took a little too long at the park because of that whole little thing. That's a good tip, by the way.
So I just want to clarify, you're talking about choreography. Were you talking about my dance skills on the dance floor? My Jan Jackson.
That's a whole nother level.
I'm messing with you. All right, give her a kiss.